on the planet. Can't get better than this. It's the first platinum event of the year on the World Tour. Ma Long in black, world rank #1, top seed at 28 years old. And Fan Zhendong on the other side, again 20 years old, second seed. So head to head, while Fan Zhendong in 2015 won all 3 of their encounters against Ma Long on the World Tour, it wasn't until just last year that Fan Zhendong was able to win. So Ma Long taking pretty much every title in 2015, just shy of the China Open, where Shang Kun was the only player to beat Ma Long. Despite that, Yuya Oshima giving quite a difficult challenge at the Japan Open, and also Antoine Hachard from France. But that was the year of Ma Long. With the World Championships under his belt, he continued to dominate, only losing that one match. And in 2016, despite losing to Xu Xin twice, Ma Long also quite dominant, was the ITTF male table tennis star 2 years in a row. You can find those outstanding pictures on the ITTF Facebook page, or even on ITTF.com. Check out the photos. See how fast the ball's going back and forth here just for their warm-up in the backhand. It almost looks like a video. High speed, and here's the racket of Ma Long, a little picture of himself on the racket. Not too many players can say they have that on their racket. Not even Zhang Jike, playing with the Viscaria Flare, still having his own model racket out there many professionals are using. This match, the final match of the day, being officiated by umpire Al-Aldin Kanani from Jordan and assistant umpire Akram Ben Attia from Tunisia. This is the real question. How will it turn out? Fan Zhendong will start off with the serve. Look at this power. The opening shot from Fan Zhendong is so strong, but the follow-up is what finishes it. Forces Ma Long into a more defensive shot. And from that deep on the table, it's going to be difficult for Ma Long to keep the ball short.
Let one love. Let.
So they played 10 times head-to-head on the World Tour. Ma Long has won 9 of those 10. His only loss was at the China Open last year.
1-all.
And that was actually a 4-0 victory for Fan Zhendong. A lot of people thought maybe Fan Zhendong's time has come. Ma Long's time in the throne on top of the world rankings is over. But still, Fan Zhendong trails. Ma Long came back to win the World Tour Grand Finals at the end of last year, right here in Doha, Qatar.
2-1.
Not afraid to step around the backhand corner. Fan Zhendong, as strong as his backhand is, still prefers to use the forehand when he can. This is a nice combination when you step around looking to take the wide open forehand deep cross court as soon as Ma Long plays it back to the forehand.
2-all.
Wow, what a shot. The soft ball. This placement from Fan Zhendong under the table sets up the point well, but it's the follow-up shot right into the middle there, gets Ma Long to turn, leaving open the wide forehand. Smart play. Look at this hooking forehand to the very deep corner of the table. There's that agility. Ma Long waiting, taking it softly and spinny from the back of the table into the body. I guess it's all relative. Softly. Look how close to the back of the table that ball is, and he recovers so quickly. This is one thing that sets these two players apart from many players in the world. Of course, the Chinese standard for physical fitness and speed so high. This is why they can take these full arm strokes and still recover.
3, 4.
As many table tennis fans can tell you watching different videos of the physical training that the Chinese team goes through, from medicine balls to all sorts of different core strength and agility exercises, it's no wonder why both of these players recover so quickly. Really? This early in the match? We've got a 7-game encounter possibly ahead of us. This is a best-of-7 match, and fireworks all over the court. This shot, and even here, the rally just continues. So many explosive balls here. Look at that backhand, so much whip from Ma Long, and finally a hooking forehand that hits the net. Fan Zhendong imparting a bit of side spin on that last ball before he breaks out to the open court. To make sure he has the traction on the bottom of the shoes to reach every ball.
5, 4.
Ma Long using the long push there quite effectively, getting a softer shot from Fan Zhendong. Deceptive serve from Fan Zhendong. Looked like it left Ma Long with a little bit of indecision. Difficult placement to try and keep it short. Fang Bo used this tactic very well of brushing the side of the ball to keep it short in the short cross-court forehand receive.
5, 6.
Ma Long, by many standards, including the world rankings, the best player in the world right now, but a lot of people will say that Fan Zhendong's power is greater, that Ma Long's creativity, agility, and adaptability is what keeps him on top of the world.
7, 5.
And from a style of play standpoint, Ma Long, when he found his confidence right around 2015, just hasn't let go of being the most confident player in the world. But Fan Zhendong, not much about him seems, he doesn't seem to lack any confidence. Maybe just a little bit of versatility in some of the touch game, being able to change up the mode. No complaints so far. He's leading by 2 here with the serves.
7, 6.
And that forehand flip directly on the service receive. Very bold play from Ma Long, but that's what's called for out here. Just down by 1 now.
Let 7, 6.
Beautiful play, wide to the backhand, creates the opening on the forehand side, but has to take it early. The feet of Fan Zhendong are so fast. Watch him cover here. Push from deep, but he cross steps to get there. And this is why he's just out of position. Chinese fans here, it's tough to tell. Ma Long definitely with a lot of fans, but Xiaopang, Fan Zhendong with many as well.
8, 7.
Little survey on Weibo with the Chinese table tennis fans, and it seems quite split. A lot of people want to see someone new in the driver's seat leading the world. Fan Zhendong seems to be the perfect candidate for that. Ma Long saying, nah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm going to take care of myself, stay world number 1. And the placement, again, it looked like he was going to go into the body until the moment he contacts the ball. There's the touch. So fast, even in the slow motion replay, he just decides, I'm going to come around the outside of the ball. And what's happening in his head, it's tough to know until the moment it happens. Meaning that you see it come out in the shot. Marvelous block to get one more back into play, but the follow-up shot goes to Fan Zhendong. This is a big point for Fan Zhendong. He'd lost 4 points in a row after being up 7-5. There's the placement again from the middle of the table, hooking wide to the forehand, and Ma Long with 2 game points at the third towel break of game 1. Now, these two have definitely had their tight matches in the past. We've seen 11-9 in the 7th. 2015, I believe. Fan Zhendong was down 6-10 in game 7, on 3 points in a row, and in the backhand-to-backhand exchange, Ma Long changed the pace. And this is the wisdom, the experience, and the versatility that keeps Ma Long just a step ahead. Outstanding play, Ma Long with the low counter loops from wide on the forehand side. Game 1 to the Dragon, 11 points to 8 over Fan Zhendong. We'll be back for game 2. Game 2 coming up right after this.
Second game, Manung to serve, level.
Back for game number 2, Ma Long leading the dictator, dictating the Dragon, breathing fire out here over Xiaopeng on the receive.
One, love.
Now head-to-head, these two in their last 2 encounters on the World Tour have been split. So despite the dominance of Ma Long, 9-1 over Fan Zhendong, the most recent 2 again leave this quite up to question. Well placed out in front of Fan Zhendong. It's not the first time I'd say since the recent Marvelous 12 matches. Started seeing Fan Zhendong lobbing a little bit, but as soon as the ball comes to his forehand side, he's going to try to counter it back. Ma Long keeping the spin on. And he doesn't twiddle the racket.
One, two.
I believe the twiddle of the racket usually is with the Chinese players who have a Chinese rubber on the black side on their forehand and a European rubber with a little bit less tack on the backhand side to play against the lobs. Last I checked, Ma Long was using 2 Chinese rubbers, so it would make sense that he would not twiddle the racket. No need. Oh, just out of reach. The ball left up right near the net. These are the shots that you want to see come back when Ma Long just hits it off and it looks like it's going to sail over the barriers. I think it was Samsonov who saved a ball like this. Look how close to the net that ball is. Fan Zhendong still almost gets a racket on it. Fast serve, but a good response. Fan Zhendong brings it back quickly with a long, fast serve. You don't need to do quite as much to the ball. There's already pace on it. Staying cool in a short stroke, using the wrist. It's enough. wait back for that attempted long push. Fan Zhendong had no chance to recover for that ball for the second bounce on the table. We got battle chanting in the crowds right now. Again, you can hear Ma Long and Fan Zhendong's cheers going. There's that high racket reverse pendulum serve. Notice the change of the grip, how the finger slides back down to get ready for the full forehand on the third ball. But this is typical, of course, the grip changing after the serve. The reason is they want the flexibility on the wrist. The wrist is so important to generate a lot of spin. The whole body's working together to create spin on the serve, but that flexibility on the wrist is more necessary where the power is not after the serve. Sorry, meaning that you need the power in the rally after the serve. Of course, power not as important on a serve as you're hitting the ball down into your side of the table. Placement. Well, this is interesting. Was trying to understand what the umpire was saying to Ma Long. The shoulder shrug. We don't really see that reaction from Ma Long much in the middle of a match. When you think about players that have had conversations with umpires, there just aren't too many exchanges between Ma Long and umpires. So strong on that backhand. Just a flash of light. That's the backhand side of the racket from Fan Zhendong. Ma Long recovers the top of the net, but when it's played back, has some trouble in the counter loop. So tied up again at 6 points each. A little bit of side spin on that ball from Fan Zhendong rather. And he's moving the upper body out of the way, catching the inside of the ball, causing some trouble to break the rhythm of Ma Long. Not easy to do.
Seven, 6.
Excellent use of an aerial cam, the bird's eye view there to see the space that these players are covering on the court. Definitely trying to push each other away from the table, trying to stay as close as possible to be aggressive, control the table. But the soft touch of Fan Zhendong completely deters that attack. Ma Long with a very difficult ball that has to be low enough. This is a perfect angle to see where the ball is. From a distance standpoint, if that ball's centered over the table, it wouldn't even come off. Talking to Richard Krause yesterday with the big ball, the 40 plus, it tends to bite a little bit, move a little slower, stay in on the table.
7, 8.
As the celluloid ball used to go longer, but these players are playing full time and have had a few years now to adjust, so a lot of these adjustments have been made. Especially at 20 years old for Fan Zhendong, the majority of his professional career, or at least the last, say, 3 years or so, been using this ball. Ma Long regathering himself to get back on balance. Fan Zhendong had a good opportunity. Could see Ma Long almost collapsing for a moment as he moved out to the forehand side. And so quick to get right back into position. That physical fitness paying off. He's wiping the sweat just from the sound. It wasn't on screen. Wiping the sweat from the palm of his hand. Is Ma Long about to get a yellow card? Now, I think this is the first I have seen. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Ma Long getting a yellow card for stalling, for wasting time. 3 wipes on the table. I think that's what he was warned for before. Only goes for 2 wipes here right out of the yellow card. Gets a little third on the back of the table. Starts to feel like a game of temptation here, a game of chicken.
10, 7.
I will say that the umpires have been instructed to be a bit more strict on the rules, as certain rules have been taken advantage of a bit here and there by players, including service. Not to mention, when the evaluator is here, umpires are under a very strict eye. So they're doing what is asked of them to enforce the rules. Ma Long with 3 game points. Beautiful shot, bending away from Fan Zhendong to save a game point, and he goes right for the towel. This ball from way offside, Ma Long, solid topspin shot, still a little bit off balance. Fan Zhendong crossing that ball, just bending it away. Now, the tighter the match gets, the more you would think the players, well, the more the players do wish they had a little extra time to think through. Remember, they don't have coaches in their corner, so it'd be understandable that they might stall a little bit. Just used to getting away with it. It's always shocking to be called on it.
Let. 8, 10.
And there it is, Ma Long, 11-8 once again. Takes the first 2 games and a steady performance from the Dragon. Captain Ma Long up 2-0. We'll be back for game 3 right after this. Back for game number 3, Fan Zhendong to start with the serve.
Let. Love all.
Beautiful opening backhand and a very quick decision. Fan Zhendong playing down the line. Watch how quick he goes for this third ball attack. Ma Long tries to surprise with the deep long push. The more obvious shot would have been to go cross court, which is why he surprised Ma Long.
1-all.
Digging deep, getting some heavy underspin on that ball. Fan Zhendong quickly checking his racket. Been surprised that the ball went down so quickly. Wow, that backhand off the bounce. This is the pivotal game. It would be really tough to come back from down 0-3. But if Fan Zhendong can make it a 1-2 game, Ma Long starts to sweat a little bit, starts to tense up a little bit. This becomes anybody's match. Just back to the equipment, something fun you might be wondering at home. How often do professionals change their equipment? During tournaments, a lot of the professionals are changing their rubber every day. So at the beginning of the day for the match or the night before, making sure that their racket is fresh for the next day. That hesitation on the receive in the short game gave a quick advantage to Ma Long. It's the third ball, soft touch. Look at this. There's the hesitation, the double take. Excellent half-long push from Ma Long. Half Ma Long. Oh! And the tables have turned. See this one more time. Ma Long committing shallow on the forehand side for that banana. Quickly back on defense. Almost gets this ball back. Look at this. Bending away, tries for a chop. If that ball comes down on the table, it's going to be maybe one of the shots of the year.
4, 3.
And these are the head-to-head battles, though, that create the nominations for point of the year, shot of the year. Got two of the fastest, most powerful players. Say the two fastest, most powerful players combined. World rank number 1 serving to world rank number 2. Beautiful ball inside out of the backhand off the side of the table from Zhendong. As he generates so much spin in such a wide angle from the center of the table with his backhand. Ma Long set up to cover the body and still can't reach it, lunging out to the side. Down the line shots, one after another. Look at this. Surprise, surprise. Absolute bombs coming back and forth here down the line from these two. And finally an inside-out shot from Zhendong that misses the table. Some of these are just reaction shots, but look at the distance they're covering and how far the ball is traveling, but so fast too. 40 plus supposed to slow down the game. Nah, the players are just getting fitter and stronger and creating faster, more impressive rallies. Look at this. My goodness, look at them both on screen, the umpire and Ma Long, with all those hand wipes after being yellow carded and warned for stalling. Beautiful block, started to break out to the forehand, recovers and blocks it wide to the forehand side from the middle of his body too. Quick decision, a little bit of punch back to keep the pace on, add some to it. Four-point lead as the drummers in the crowd get crazy. Strong backhand from over the table, one of the signature shots of Zhendong. As well as Zhendong is playing right now, just like anybody else, you have to wonder if he's going to start to bring some changes out here. Beautiful shot, plays it behind Ma Long. He sees him moving out to the forehand and hits it behind the momentum. The amount of time he has to make this decision. This is why I always say if you need a designated driver, get a table tennis player. Just a moment, not even a full second. And he's countering the ball back behind Ma Long. Quick backhands off the bounce. Big point for Ma Long to hang on to his lead. Had a 4-point lead at the towel break at 8-4. Takes it back to 3 points here. Players having to wait to hear who wins the cheering argument in the crowd. It's the cheering final for the fans.
7, 9.
But the fans of Zhendong win that rally. Cheering a backhand that was quite powerful. So Ma Long calling the assistant umpire to make sure that he's not called for wasting time. Make sure that the table's dry, there's no sweat on the table. Extra spin on the ball. Little change of pace from Ma Long. Not the rocket backhands that have been coming in from Zhendong. Watch again. Ball jumps way out. Not a drastic change, but just enough to break the rhythm and earn 3 game points for Ma Long. Excellent attempt, but Ma Long pinned in the backhand court, loops with the forehand and drives it for the winner. 11-7 over Zhendong, the most dominant game yet for Ma Long, and it's a 3-0 lead. The Dragon on fire. Game 4 coming up right after this. You don't want to miss it. It's either going to be the comeback of Zhendong or it's going to be the championship game. Stay right here. Back for game number 4. Ma Long in the driver's seat, up 3-0 over Zhendong on the top of the screen in the top of the world. Despite that, gives the serve away, going for the long serve to the backhand side. Haven't seen so many deliberately long serves out here, not in this match. Fangbo seems just a little bit tense. It's easy to understand how a player could miss these counter loops against the world's best player. But Zhendong has been known to counter them time and time again. So it is a bit uncharacteristic for him to miss these shots. So now Zhendong stepping into the lead here. The step around forehand. Nice change of heart. This is a quality shot from the back of the table. Watch how low he takes the ball, but still able to drive it low to the net. Unbelievable the strength and the racket speed that he can get behind that shot on such short notice with little backswing. This can be quite taxing on the shoulder. Classic combination. Ma Long attacking first. Deep on the table. Gets the counter, invites a more predictable attack. One more time from this angle. Serve, gets a spinny ball back, I should say, and then counters for the winner. Have to imagine a timeout is going to come up sooner or later. Little off the top of the net, but still it's that big forehand from down low at the back of the table. Fan Zhendong, so far getting into the short game and waiting for Ma Long to play just a little bit longer than half long. Has been very effective for Fan Zhendong. A little surprised that Fan Zhendong didn't step in for that ball left on the forehand side. Stepped in a little bit from this angle. It seemed a little more clear that Ma Long kept it lower than it appeared from up high. Just the time in travel made the ball seem a little bit higher than it was. So the one time that Fan Zhendong won on the World Tour, we talked about the China Open last year, it was a 4-0 victory for Fan Zhendong. Last time Ma Long won, which is the last time they played, was a 4-2 victory for Ma Long. Study that backhand. Gets Ma Long up on 1 foot and a 3-point lead for Fan Zhendong. It's a real turning point in the match. And now at the second towel break of the game, it's turned around. It was the exact opposite in the last game when Ma Long was up 8-4. A bit more underspin on that reverse pendulum serve than Ma Long anticipated or could read.
Lit. 4, 8.
Oh, beautiful shot deep to the backhand and down the line. Fan Zhendong just reflecting light. Refracting light. Redirecting this ball at the speed of light anyway. It comes in on the diagonal, comes right back on the parallel for the winner. Fans are going to have to work on the timing of the drumming out there. Beautiful shot. Near side of the table, Fan Zhendong continuing his streak with these shots. One cross court and another down the line, changing up the patterns. Now 5 game points for Fan Zhendong. Oh, the touch shot from down below the table. Ma Long spinning it up with side spin. A confident open-faced racket as Fan Zhendong floats it back up on the table. Little help off the top of the net. But again, demonstrating that amazing touch. Gotta love the points like that, where he takes his ball from. Almost the potential to recreate the winning shot of 2016, the 3-bouncer, the under-the-net roller on the table against Simon Gauzy. So Fan Zhendong gets his first game in this match. Game 5 coming up right after this.
Cover.
Game number 5 gets quite interesting as Fan Zhendong had the most dominant game yet, holding Ma Long to only 5 points in the last game.
One, love.
And quick down the line, this fearless backhand of Fan Zhendong. So difficult to tell where he's going to go. The parallel shots, he seems to have a little bit less backswing. And when he tucks in a little bit more like that, it's more likely going to be the cross-court shot. That's how it's appeared so far. But he could have backswing and brush the inside of the ball, keeping a little side spin on it as well.
One, two.
Outstanding play. That opening shot from Fan Zhendong had so much side spin on it. Ma Long didn't seem bothered at all, quickly turned it into a topspin rally. It's just unbelievable how fast Fan Zhendong can take that fearless shot and redirect it. Shot block works out. Ma Long really has to get his racket up high to come down on that ball. I talked yesterday about what a high percentage Ma Long can make of these shots. Again, when it's rotating that quickly to cut it that hard, still keep it low enough to not lose the point. Forehand flip over the table. Fan Zhendong leading by 2. Definitely love to have a 4-1 victory at this point. Fan Zhendong and the rest of the fans around the world, I think, many would love to see this go the full distance, 7 games. Fan Zhendong en route right now. If he can continue this performance, we will be seeing a game 7. This is just world-class play. Fan Zhendong doing everything here, trying to find the middle of Ma Long, turning, he plays down the line. In this rally, that was the first down the line, the forehand, and he's trying to pin the middle, and finally, when he opens up to the wide forehand, just not enough room on the table.
Let. 5, 3.
This is where he's been most successful. Fan Zhendong, when the short game starts, sort of picking up the loose balls that come just off the table. And see how in at the table he is. Really has to get the legs in. From a balance standpoint, I can't think of a player in the world that can center their gravity quite like Fan Zhendong, with the knees out in front right at the back of the table and still generate so much spin power and keep their balance.
4, 6.
But Ma Long shortening it up, keeping it over the table this time. Well-placed, tempting serve. Kept low just off the side of the table, half long. If Fan Zhendong waits for that ball any longer, Ma Long is going to turn the corner of a very, I'd say, open table. So Fan Zhendong handcuffed a little bit. Ma Long with a second serve and a chance to tie up the game. Much better response. Gets the racket head down. If we have a chance to see the wrist of Zhendong on this, he really gets the shoulders in over the table. Watch the wrist. Tip of the racket head down, leans just a little bit to impart some side spin on it as well as top. And this helps him out for making a much better shot than the attempt before. And grunting quickly early in the point to put the power and the spin on. Now, as powerful as both of these players are, when the shot's that low and it's played into the body, Zhendong's using every ounce of muscle and energy that he has to really load that ball up and keep it just fizzing with spin. Quick parallel shot here. A dart from Zhendong as he continues to race ahead. Watch one more time, uses the backhand. A little bit punchier, but still coming over the top of the ball. It's very rare to see a shot without a lot of topspin on it from these two. Variations, of course, but keeping the topspin on, one of the key ingredients, even in the fast rallies. Well, look at this. 10 points to 5. Another 5 game points for Zhendong, and Ma Long looking for some answers right now. Doing some soul searching on the court. Even though that shot goes long, you can see Ma Long getting ready to move into the chop block once again. The down the line play. One game point saved by Ma Long, now on the receive. Shot block does not land. Zhendong from under the table on the forehand side, still effective. Another dominant game, 11-6. Usually when you call someone a comeback kid, it's not a kid. 20-year-old Zhendong starting his trail right now, winning the last 2 games. Game 6 coming up right after this. As we come back to the table for Game 6, the epic battle continues, and Zhendong right there on screen, holding Ma Long to only 11 points in the last 2 games combined, despite his 22 victories. This is good use of a fast long serve. I think it was Game 4 where Ma Long started off with the long serve drifting just off the table on the full diagonal. But here into the body more, middle of the table. Once again. Now you might not want to do the same serve twice in general, but if it surprises the opponent, they don't expect it, why not? Now we've got the timeout. Zhendong down 0 points to 3. This is a wise timeout. He's dominated the last 2 games, and the start of this game has loosened up the grip a little bit. Definitely was quite valuable for Ma Long to use his serves, those long serves into the body to take the first 2 points. Those first 2 points could make Fan Zhendong a little bit more nervous, questioning himself out here. He's been so free with these down-the-line shots, the opening backhands, the over-the-table game. Fan Zhendong has so many signature shots, from his serve to his backhand off the table, to his backhand over the table, to his heavy spinning forehands, hooking shots. But still, when you think of Fan Zhendong, you think power. This is what he's known for. The first time I sat down at a table with Fan Zhendong and Ma Long was at the Kuwait Open in 2015. And while the endearing term little fatty, Xiaopang in China, comes with love for Fan Zhendong, Ma Long said the same thing. I wish I were fat. I wish I had Fan Zhendong's legs and power. I need to eat more. So it just goes to show you that Fan Zhendong, known for the power, still brings quite a complete package. Just getting his first point out of the timeout. Showing some positive play here. This is a little bit more, say, in between. Not quite a long serve from Ma Long, but long enough for Fan Zhendong to clearly get the opening attack. As well practiced as Ma Long is, again, he is human, despite admitting to being a robot in his Ask a Pro Anything. And the fans scream as the counter loops exchange back and forth, but the down-the-line shot just misses the edge. So fast to recover on these balls. Ma Long, one shot after another. Take a chance to look at Fan Zhendong in this replay. Just leaning back a little bit, but then quickly recovers to drive forward. So much pace on the ball. Not so fast, Ma Long. Fan Zhendong creeping back in. Starting to see a little versatility out here from Fan Zhendong. The soft ball, a little bit less spin on the opening backhand. This one gets away from Fan Zhendong, the heavy topspin. We've seen him just pound through the ball when it's coming up a little bit, and he's got the time on the forehand. He's a little farther behind the table on this one. Disappointed, yes. Nervous, I don't see it. Just trying to read the face and the body language of Fan Zhendong. Doesn't seem nervous. Big shot on the recovery from Ma Long, and it still almost comes back. Fan Zhendong with the cross-court attempt. See how much topspin is on the ball after it comes off the top of the net. Of course, coming into the net as well. At this pace, if Ma Long can hang on to the 2-point lead, he takes the match 4-2. Fan Zhendong still chasing. Right now, Ma Long equaling his highest score in the last 2 games. Remember, he lost 11-5 in Game 4 and 11-6 in Game 5. This is very rare to see. Ma Long getting the point here with Fan Zhendong leaping out to the forehand and not recovering deep to the backhand. Taking a softer, more passive shot on the backhand rather than that wristy snap that we know he has in his repertoire. You can see him shaking his head there, not happy about that last point.
Let. 4, 7.
Wow, what a receive. I was just thinking about how every time I watch Zhendong play, I feel like I'm watching history in the making. A potential greatest of all time, but right now we're looking at just the same in black. Ma Long making that receive while it's over the table with a full stroke forehand. Again, confidence written all over that shot. Outright service point again. Heavy underspin on the half-long pendulum serve. Ma Long racing into a lead. From the body language of Zhendong and the scoreboard combined, there's no question Ma Long should take this match. And he continues on the streak. It is 6 championship points for Ma Long. Captain Long here just 1 point away from taking the very first platinum event in history on the World Tour since the new marketing and the new titling of the Seamaster 2017 World Tour.
Let. 4.
Determination on the face of Ma Long coming into that serve. And there it is, Ma Long does it 11 points to 4. What a turnaround after games 4 and 5 dominated by Zhendong. The captain, the dictator, the dragon, Ma Long has done it. He's taken the title and still holds a chokehold on world rank number 2. Zhendong, despite back and forth play in the Chinese Super League on the World Tour, it is 10-1 for Ma Long over Zhendong. So world rank number 1 will sit on his throne for some time until Zhendong can really turn things around. But what a performance it was by both players. Explosive power and an exciting match to watch, of course, here in Qatar. Stick around, we've got the awards ceremony coming up in just a little bit as you enjoy the highlights of this match. You've been watching the 2017 Seamaster Qatar Open. We'll be back with the awards ceremony in a moment.